And
Well, look who it is. If it isn't the Heavy Hockey Podcast with the first show of 2026. What show number is this? Who's got a number for this one?
I think we're
I think it's
episode
8.
8 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look at us go, eh? Getting
Hey,
up double digits.
as long as we make it to 10 before, the first show of 2027, then we'll be good, right?
That's pretty lofty
Wow.
goals there, Kev.
We had an extended Christmas break and a bit of a New Year's hangover. And since most of us are pushing here, middle age area, our hangovers last longer than usual. So here we are. It's been 11 games since our last podcast. Usual wrecking crew on the site today. We got Patrick, the Oilers Fanatics. How you doing there, Patrick?
Pretty good. Would have been happier with a win last night, but thanks, Jake Allen, and thanks for not showing up for 40 minutes.
There you go. So Patrick keeps us going on. Started off with a huge positive note. So thanks for bringing the energy, Patrick. We got senior writer, but junior to all of us, Lotzie down in the corner there. How you doing, Lotzie?
Good, Bob.
Excellent.
Happy to be here as always.
Happy to have you as always. And of course, speaking of happy, Mr. Kevin McCurdy in the bottom. How you doing, Kev?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, fantastic. Ready to get going. 2026. Here we go. It's been 11 games the Oilers have had since our last podcast when you guys did the Olympic team predictions, which, of course, I disagreed with every one of you on. And had I been on, I would have picked the right team. But that's bygones. In those 11 games, we went 5-4-2. So we put the game over 500 there on the win column. 11 games. What stood up for you guys? Patrick, in those 11 games, what were some highlights and observations on your end?
We're not talking about goaltending anymore. Tristan Jarry and Connor Ingram have definitely changed the narrative here in Oil Country, and Calvin Pickard, I think, has put in some solid performances as well, so I don't want to take any credit from him, but it's looking like, I think we all could have guessed where this was headed, but as long as Tristan Jarry stays healthy here, I think we're heading towards a Jarry-Ingram tandem, probably following the Olympic break. I don't see them making any changes before then. But, yeah, goaltending's probably been the biggest thing there. Connor McDavid's obviously the best we've ever seen him in a regular season anyway. He really lights it up in the playoffs as well. Just gets you more excited for what's to come here. Those have been the big things I've noticed so far.
And you touched on a couple things we're going to touch on later on in the show, too. So, good observations there, Patrick. Lotzie, what do you think about these last 11 games? What stood out for you?
Big thing for me is that only 2 of them were really considered like bad games. Like the New Year's Eve game against Boston was a rough one, and Jan 3rd against the Flyers was another rough one. But aside from that, it's been solid play. Like wins or losses aside, it's been a solid run of consistent play for the Oilers here. So that's been the biggest thing for me. It's been a nice change of pace and a relief to have the sky not be falling on us like it was at the start of the season.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of naysayers. I find it interesting though that every game we win, and when you're online, you see they're already playing the parade, and every loss we have, no matter how good we play, it's kind of like we need to revamp this team again. We have a bit of a fragile fan base at times, for sure. Kevin, these last 11 games, Kevin, what stood out for you? What'd you see?
Lots of good and some just a couple of really bad bouts of not good. I didn't really like a lot of what was going on in yesterday's game. I thought New Jersey outplayed them with speed, and then the Oilers felt panicky in their puck handling all night. I think that was represented well by the number of turnovers and the number of puck bobbles and missed passes and stuff. I'm not sure the ice condition was super great. over the 11 game spread overall, pretty encouraged by what I see. Top line carrying 60% expected goals for, and then we go down from there. But it appears that the team, at least in the top half, is shaping up, and I think as Kasperi Kapanen gets healthy and as Leon returns to the team, we'll get back to cooking with gas on a near full-time pace.
Oh yeah, 100%. And actually, you had a pretty good tweet yesterday when it came to some of the giveaways, Kevin. You want to share that one with us there?
Oh, that if they do any more giveaways, they're going to need to register another charity. Yeah, no, that's pretty accurate. It was bad. There was a lot of really ugly giveaways. And just poor. I hate to use the word gamesmanship, but that's what it's coming. Just the poor game state in terms of like being aware of what the game state is. Like Darnell Nurse, for example, giveaway, or not the giveaway, the poor line change that led to the game-winning goal. Evan Bouchard may, after, it happens like this every time. I glaze the guy on Twitter because I love how he plays the sport, and then he comes out and just lays an egg the very next game without question. Like, I just need to I don't know if I just need to sit and slap him across the face before every game or what, but when I talk crap about people, they come out and turn out a ridiculous performance, and when I praise somebody, or somebody in general gets praised, it seems like they shoot the golden goose or something, because it's almost predictable at this point.
Well, you know what a crazy stat is?
What's that?
The Oilers are 2-2 in their last 4 games, and they've only given up they've only allowed 4 goals.
Yeah.
Yep.
We've allowed 4 goals in 4 games, and we're 2-2.
That tells you 2 things. One, it tells you the goaltending has been sensational, and you know what? The first goal against last game, not great. I gotta knock Jari for that one. Ugly goal, made some fantastic saves to make up for it. That cartwheel save was something else. Not a very common save to see in 2026, but still a welcome. I said this on Low Tide pretty much exactly earlier, but a welcome bit of athleticism from the goaltending, from both of them, from both Ingram, actually all 3 of them. We've seen even Pickard make some really sensational stops recently. Yeah, overall good start. Missing a few key pieces. This 3 goaltending thing is killing us from roster selection point of views. I think that there's definitely an opportunity for changes there. I'm not sure if the team is going to take those opportunities, but I wish they would, because 11-7 was not working last night.
Oh, and it sounds like it's going to be 11-7 again tomorrow, because Knobloch was saying that Draisaitl is probably not back till Washington on the weekend, so I don't see them making any changes. I think if they were going to make a change, it probably would have been today.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they didn't. I honestly would have leveraged Howard's cap hit to make a change there if it was me.
Yeah, because you can bring up 2 guys for what his
bring up 2 guys for what his cap hit is, and for a 1-game thing, say, sorry, I feel free to sit in the press box if you want. You don't actually have to fly down, but we need 2 bodies, and this is the only way we can do it without risking another asset loss, because that is a reasonable concern with Pickard. Is that we're going to lose yet another body on waivers, which would be the 3rd this year, which is sort of getting out of hand.
I don't see the 11-7 to be a big issue. I mean, we're kind of used to it. I mean, these guys have done it a few times for stretches before, so I find that tough to use that as an excuse, especially for yesterday's game. It's something we've done before. It has worked for us before. I think what hurt us the most in this case was the fact that we lost Pod Colson for 17 minutes. So
it was really 10-7 is what was the counterpoint I was going to bring up to that, is because I know that that's how the rule is written, but I cannot describe to you how much I dislike the application of the rule in that particular circumstance, because one of you guys was pointing out that there's been like 300 fights in the NHL this year or something like that, and like 15 of them have had instigators called on them. You're telling me that was the most in that top 15 that was deserving of an instigator penalty? Come on. Like, New Jersey, like Kovalevic's gloves had hit the ice before Podkolzin's. Please explain this to me. I know it's not about measuring the gloves. I know it's not about measuring the gloves. I know it's about intent. I understand the finer points of how the rule works. I'm just telling you that I disagree with how it was implemented in this case. That, or they need to be calling an instigator penalty for every fight on the ice. One of the two. Because the standard is not a standard, and it drives me mental.
I mean, from my perspective, it was pretty clear that Podkolzin made a snap decision to go immediately after Kovacevic, which, I mean, good on him. Like, I praise him for doing that. That was the right thing to do. I don't care about the penalty. Yeah, it sucks we were shorthanded for that long, but that's been a pet peeve of mine for a while now with the league in general. A guy hits somebody else and it looks a little questionable, even though it might be clean. And just because a guy hits the ice, you drop the gloves and go, right? Like, that one, hands were high in McDavid's face. So I understand Podkolzin stepping in there. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I wasn't so upset by the instigator call because, we all know why Podkolzin was skating over there, right? And it was a snap decision. Like, we knew what he was doing.
But he didn't travel from the bench. He didn't travel ridiculous distance. He didn't even have his gloves off. And at the very least, he gets in the guy's face and gives him the old hand wash, right? And you know what? Sure, Kovalevich turned it into a full-on fight, and that's fine. That's his right, but that's not an instigator, or it shouldn't be. Or if it is, again, then set the standard league-wide and apply it consistently. It is my biggest pet peeve about how the sport is officiated. The rules are black and white. Either apply them or remove them, but don't leave this up for interpretation stuff if you can get away with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of gray and up for interpretation rules in the NHL.
Read the instigator rule, man. If you want a rule that they can literally apply to any sort of interpretation of what they think instigating might be, that's their rule.
I think it needs to be redefined. I mean, the instigator rule should be there so that you don't jump guys and sucker punch them, that sort of thing. I mean, Kovacevic knew something was going to come after he hit McDavid. He knew it. So he wasn't going to get jumped. He was ready for it. And having said that, Podkolzin, he instigated the altercation. It wasn't guaranteed that was a fight. Like, he didn't have his gloves off yet either. He was charging towards him. It could have been like a face wash. He could have leveled him, what have you. This is the ref interpreting the fact that Podkolzin is coming to fight him. And, 95% of the time, that's probably the case, but it's not 100. You can't just make that assumption.
I got to tell you, though, Pods has increased his fan base stock by about 800% with one move, right? Like,
oh, yeah. There was chanting Pods in the building last night after he got kicked out, out at the end of the first period there. So that was fun.
All of a sudden, you go look and the rack in the shop for the Podkolzin jerseys is empty. Like, just a tumbleweed rolling through. Like, what's not to like about this guy? Like, what is not to like? He doesn't. Yeah, sure, he doesn't put 80 points a season in the net or anything like that, but he works like a horse. He's, in some ways, Zach Hyman 2.0 in that he's in the corners, he's in dirty, he makes the right decisions, he helps Draisaitl out immensely. He does the shit that Draisaitl doesn't need to have, doesn't want to do or shouldn't have to do, which is puck retrieval. And he does it extremely well. And in this case, he's defending our captain, which honestly is not something that has happened nearly enough. It doesn't happen often that he gets clocked, but this season I've seen McDavid get hit more than any time before. So send a message, and that's exactly what Podkolzin did.
I think this is the first time that someone immediately stepped in. In one of those situations.
100%.
I was going to say it's to our advantage, really. I mean, obviously it would be nice if he did score like a whole bunch and get 80 points, but at the same point, or at the same time, if he doesn't do that, he doesn't cost us as much. So he's a more cost-effective player that does multiple things for us. And we've got McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman. We don't need him to be an 80-point guy. We need him to be the guy that he is, and he fits obviously into our cap a lot better that way as well. So
And
it's a negative and a big positive.
He's coming into his own points wise, right? Like he's figuring out his own way to score and to be useful and effective. And he's had a good month. Like for him, we picked him up for a 4th round draft pick, man. Like that's a fire sale as far as what he's turned out to be for us.
Yeah, the same one we used to get Kane or to get rid of Kane.
Yep. No, like that.
So essentially Podkolzin for Kane. I'll take that.
Yeah, and I know that there's been rumors about Kane coming back, but please
no.
Please don't.
No.
No, that's just a rumor.
No, watching Podkolzin from above last night. I was in the upper bowl last night, but I thought he was tremendous. Like he was making all sorts of plays. Felt like he was holding on to the puck a little longer than normal, and he was making smart, intelligent passes with it. And he had a few shots as well. He's not afraid to shoot it. He'll go to the net. Like there's lots to like.
Who did he earhole a couple weeks back? That wasn't Bobrovsky, was it? Or was it Boston? I can't remember. He earholed somebody and scored in the shelf. What was it, 2 or 3 weeks ago? Like he's learning how to shoot. Spent enough time in the Leon Draisaitl school of shooting. So
I was
Bobrovsky.
I was watching him from the lower Browns in my house vantage point. You might have been up in the upper section there, Lottie. I was in the lower section here in my living room, and I thought Podkolzin was probably our best forward yesterday, and not just because of that fight, but he had that breakaway chance, and just his puck retrieval. There's a reason why guys like Draisaitl love playing with this guy. He creates space. He does the dirty work for you, and he'll help make you look good. I mean, yeah, I agree with you, Kev. Like he is like a Hyman. Like Hyman and Podkolzin are our 2 hardest working guys on our team.
The other guy that I'd like to throw in there, at least recently, and he's hurt right now, is Kasperi Kapanen.
He's been fantastic.
Yeah, I know he can be a little bit more defensively sus, shall we say, than Podkolzin is. Like Podkolzin's a frigging rock star on the backside of the puck, and Kapanen can have his moments, but Kapanen was an absolute. I love that guy, man. Like, what a pickup on the waiver wire. His career was basically borderline over in the NHL, and he's reinvented himself as a player. And if he can stay healthy, I think he has a foreseeable future with this team in a middle 6 kind of role, or bottom 9, however you want to look at it, right? Like I feel like he's that dynamic player that can sort of like. Yeah, again, he's not going to score 1,000,000 points, but he's a pretty smart hockey player, and he goes to the right places, and he can skate like the wind, and he hits like a truck. All that wear and tear that we can keep off guys like Zach Hyman, much better.
Well, and he actually got better when he came back from his injury. Like before his injury, he played like a 40-point player, which is great. He comes back from that injury, he's playing like an 80-point player, fantastic. Now he's hurt again, so he's going to come back as a 100-point player, probably.
No, or 0-point player, one of the 2.
Come on, stay positive here, Kev. Stay positive.
Hey man, I'm still a little jaded about last night and them not being able to make a 6-foot pass. Like,
yeah, what have you done for me lately, right?
Yeah.
There was a while there where Kapanen was like borderline top 6, if not a top 6 guy. He's not been that player for quite a few years now, but like we saw that player again coming out of the injury. I was like, who is this guy? Like, who's this 42 guy? And what do you do with Kapanen? Like, he's making so many creative passes, primary assists, and skating and hitting like a truck, like you said. The physicality we knew about, but even for me last year, that was a new part of his game that I wasn't aware of, wasn't familiar with. I don't know how often he's done that for other teams he's played with. Like when he was with Toronto, he didn't have that reputation, right? No. It was more, he's soft, he's not good defensively, he's this, he's that. It didn't work out, but he's definitely rounded into shape here, and it's been a welcome addition for sure.
I feel like he fits that Connor Brown, like not really the play style, but like the archetype of what he is to the fan base, right? Like I feel like Connor Brown went from struggling, middle six forward to Oilers legend in not a lot of time, just because of his ability to capture crowd energy and encourage it. And I feel like Kapanen sort of has that same kind of vibe about him where and who else was it? Klim Kostin was like that, right? Where he could be a bit hot and cold, but when he was hot, he was a fan favorite for a reason, and he fed off of it and was twice the player under the influence of it. So I think it's important that we find those players that are really like integrated with the energy of the building, because it really can be infectious to the team. And Kapanen being back made a honestly like material difference to how the team was playing and their energy level overall.
I want to change gears quickly here. There was a question posted there from Klima's Led, so shout out to Klima's Led there. We were going to talk about the goalies a little bit later, but might as well just segue into that now. We got a 3 goalie system right now with Pickard and Ingram and Jari all in the mix. As Patrick alluded to a little bit earlier, about possible moves or no moves till after the Olympic break or what have you. Lots of speculation. Obviously, any athlete, they want to play. I've been part of a 3-goalie system in senior hockey before. It actually sucks for practices. You're fighting for crease time. You got to take a rotation. During some drills, you're just stretching in the corner, waiting for somebody to holler at you to say, hey, it's your turn to go in. You definitely lose some rhythm in the practice. You do lose some rhythm in the games, especially if you're the low guy on the totem pole, which is, as we all know, and Pickard knows, he is that guy right now. He is number 3 in our 3-goalie rotation. Not even really a rotation, since Pickard might play every 10th game at this rate. He made some comments today about being frustrated. I don't think he said anything out of line. He also recognized the fact that he's a professional, and this is all stuff that he has had to handle before in his professional career. What are your thoughts on Pickard's comments? He vented a little bit there today. Patrick?
Yeah, I have it teed up here if you want me to read it out.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So they were, I don't like it. I'm not having fun with it. It does suck for sure, but don't feel bad for me. I've been through it before. I'm going to be 34 soon, and I've seen all these kinds of situations. But yeah, it's been painful for me, and that was Calvin Pickard on being the number 3 in Edmonton. It was a interview he did with Mark Spector for Sportsnet. So I think it's kind of unusual for Calvin Pickard. He's not usually vocal like that, but I definitely get where the frustration's coming from. I mean, head coach Chris Knobloch talked about it in his media availability today. The Oilers don't make the runs that they've been on the last 2 years without Calvin Pickard and what he did for this team. So I think they do really want to try and do right by him, and they do have to. They owe him that. And everyone can see it, as I talked about off the top of the show here. I mean, it's Tristan Jarry and Connor Ingram's net now. It's just a matter of time until Calvin Pickard's gone. I think what they're trying to hold out for is to make sure that Tristan Jarry isn't going to relapse with another injury here. I think they want to be 100% sure that Tristan Jarry looks good, and he has looked good the last few games. So, I mean, who knows? You can't really predict injuries, but that's why I think it's probably going to stay the 3 goalies until the Olympic break, but I don't think long after the Olympic break we see a change there, whether it's Pickard on waivers, hopefully not on waivers. As Kevin pointed out, we've lost enough people that way. Hopefully they can figure out some kind of trade here. We know there's teams looking for a goaltender like Calvin Pickard. He's cheap. He can make a difference. We've seen it. Obviously, this hasn't been the best year for him, but he can be of help to somebody here. So I'm hoping that they can find a good landing spot for him. And yeah, like I said, this comment was kind of out of character, I think, for him, but I also get where the frustration's coming from.
Kevin?
Yeah, I don't really have an issue with the comment. Like I would be frustrated too. So trip down memory lane here for a second. The penultimate event that led to Broberg's departure from the team eventually via offer sheet was he sat in the press box for almost 2 months, from like early in the season until December. They didn't send him down, even though they could have passed him without waivers or anything like that. And you just sat in the press box collecting dust. And then in December, if my memory's right, which sometimes it isn't, he asked for a trade, and so they sent him down and they played him 25 minutes a night in Bakersfield. And then he came back and he was a different player by the time we got to see him in the playoffs, and the asset bungling was already complete at that point. But I guess what I'm getting at is, let's not make the same mistake with Calvin Pickard. He has earned the right to play hockey, whether it is here, whether it's in Bakersfield, or whether it's for another club, to be determined. He's an amazing person. He's part of the lifeblood of that locker room. Basically, every player on the team has said that at some point or another. It's really unfortunate that we're at this point, but we also needed to make some changes in the goaltending department. I do want to point out that the people that support him, there's a few that follow us here at Heavy Hockey, and his familial, support system has been nothing but positive about his time here in Edmonton. Kelly Pickard's been very vocal in support of Calvin, and I wish nothing but the best for those guys. I really hope that we make some decisions soon, for no other reason than he deserves to have clarity in his future. It's kind of shitty sitting in the press box when you got two other goalies in front of you, and again, he deserves to play some hockey.
Yeah, well said, Kev. Lotzi, what do you got? What are your thoughts on the 3 goalie system we got going on?
Yeah, it's well said. And Russ Jericho in the chat pointing out that both Stu and Calvin's numbers would have been better earlier in the year had the team played better in front of them. And that's something I agree with as well. Like, Picard has definitely improved ever since the trade went down to get rid of Stu, and the team has kind of settled down a little bit. And, the schedule has also settled down a little bit. The team settled down as we kind of thought it would. But Calvin was just being honest, right? He should be pissed off about this situation. Like, with how well he's done over the past couple of years, for the times he's come in and saved our bacon, and for all that, he deserves some ice time, like Kevin was saying. Absolutely. So it sucks that it's gone down the way it's gone down, and he should be pissed off that it's gone down that way. And he does deserve to play hockey. He wants to play, and of course it doesn't sound fun being a number 3 goalie where you're not seeing any ice time. You're not involved in the morning skates. Yeah, so off day practices are rare. Like, how many shots is he even facing right now? Right, tough situation to be in, and yeah, I feel for him. It sucks, but at the same time, Ingram has outplayed him. Like, Pickard's been good ever since Jari got hurt, but Ingram's been just that much better. And of course, they got Jari to be the number 1, so he's not playing over Jari. So yeah, it sucks that the writing's on the wall for Pickard, and his play should be acknowledged and he should be celebrated. But it doesn't seem like there's much of a path going forward here for him in Edmonton.
Well, and he's rocking an 871, right? Like, that's the reality. Just looking at the stats here, and 871, 3.68 GAA, like, that is not going to get it done at the NHL level. And again, his stats are awful because the team was awful for a huge chunk of time that he was, playing basically every other game, right? I just don't see a way out of this. Like, Ingram has earned his spot. There's no question in my mind. And Jari's here to stay because he's got a fat contract and there's no other reason. And he's played well, right? Like, there's been 1 or 2 games. The number of quality starts that we've ended up from these 2 guys just means that they're 1 and 2 right now, or 1A, 1B, however you want to look at it.
Well, and Ingram's numbers, since he's been called up, are through the roof. Like,
there's one game that's dragging the whole set. There's one game that's dragging it.
Yeah, But I break it down on a game to game basis. So yeah, like your stats are what they are. A lot of times the bad games are the ones that really bring your numbers down, like atrociously. So if you break it down game by game though, like out of like Ingram right now, 78% of the time during the game, if you combine a combination of the goals saved above expected and save percentage, he's been the better of the two goalies 78% of his starts as an Oiler. That is for goalies that have played a minimum of 6 games. That is tied for second best in the NHL for being the better of the two goalies. Like his goals saved above is also like second best in the AHL right now from a game to game basis. He has the best goals saved above expected compared to the other goalie, like almost 80% of the time. And he is so. I like the dynamics between Jari and Ingram. Their styles are quite a bit different. Jari seems much more aggressive. He still lets in the odd juicy rebound go off his pads that I wouldn't mind him controlling. I love the way he plays the puck. Like he's aggressive with that thing. Whereas Ingram looks so composed and never seems to be out of position. He's really reading the play well. These goalies are so different and yet so solid right now. Like the confidence level I have when these guys are in net. Like I was a big Stu Skinner booster, still am. I love the fact he's doing well in Pittsburgh. But a lot of times he was his own enemy when it came to giving the fans and his teammates confidence about certain individuals coming down a rush. I have not been feeling that with Jari or Ingram in net right now.
It's definitely a lot more calm back there, and like I catch myself watching a few of these games recently. It's like, okay, that's one that may have normally ended up in the back of the net. Like I was a very big Skinner supporter, right? I was like, yeah, he's not elite, but he's good enough to get the job done. Play well in front of him. He can do what you need to do. But I'm seeing some of the saves that Jari and Ingram are making, and they're saves that Stu wasn't making all the time.
Such a breakaway save. Such as the save Jari made yesterday. Holy smokes.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Stuart Skinner doesn't make that save if you gave him 100 tries at it. And again, Stuart Skinner made some incredible saves. It's just not his style of goaltending, right? The thing about Skinner that everybody sort of forgets is that one of the reasons that he was relatively successful for us was that he's durable. And he's durable because he's very cognizant of injury management or prevention of injuries outright, because I think he was pretty worried about, what the downhill streak is for a goaltender once you get really injured for the first time. And that, I think, led him to play a fairly conservative style of goaltending compared relative to some of his peers. But it meant that he was available to us basically always, except for that concussion. That's the only injury I remember him having that kept him out any duration of time. And that's because Bennett elbowed him in the head. Like, that's pretty damn good for a goalie. But again, I think it was better in this case that both goalies got a fresh start. I think that Skinner was probably based on his comments in Pittsburgh, and I don't want to read too much into it. We've had enough of that around the NHL lately. I would suspect that he was kind of at the end of his rope with his team a little bit, or at least the trust was a little bit broken. As far as like being able to play freely and them knowing, the team knowing that he had their backs if they screwed up. I certainly am not getting the anxiety attacks every time there's a breakaway hauling ass down the ice. You know what I mean? So that's an important change for the team, and I think it's important to get Skinner out of this market. He's an incredible dude. He's he's a pretty smart human being overall. Seems pretty emotionally aware, and I just think this maybe it was time for a change of environment for him to get him into a maybe slightly less, I hate to call it abusive, but
it was that at times.
It was that. Yeah, all right, fine. But into a slightly less harsh market.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would agree. They both needed a change of venue, and Stu struggled his first couple games in Pittsburgh, but he's been pretty lights out uh, ever since. And they got the Stu chance going to Pittsburgh. Yeah, and there's guys quoting Penguins players that are going on record saying he's changed the atmosphere of the dressing room in the short time he's been there already. So, like you say,
He's
Kev,
a
he's a
super positive dude,
quality
man.
individual.
And like some people would call it toxically positive, but I think that's a really important skill for a goalie to have. You got to let that stuff, everything that goes wrong, you got to let it roll off your back. And I know that people were, called some of his comments flippant and whatnot when he was answering positively or in a way that people felt was out of touch. But like, honestly, if you make it to that level, that's kind of how you have to be. That has to be how your inner narrative is. And I think he just shared a little bit more of that than a lot of people would. And for exactly the reason as he found out why. And that's because people are jerks.
We were taught this when when I was playing pro. We were given this PR course, and we were taught to speak positive. Like you weren't supposed to focus on the negative. You weren't supposed to talk badly about your game or anything like that. And I'm sure as the veterans go on, you kind of learn your way in the media, and you can speak a bit more freely. But early on, we were told to just everything positive about your game, your teammates' game, your team game, even about the other team. It was all about positivity, because that's the atmosphere you create. And if you keep saying it, you manifest it, and it just becomes a part of your persona.
Yeah, and
I
I think the environments that don't have that, or if the element of the latter, where it's a negative environment, are easily visible in the NHL. You can see them. There's a couple of them that are active right now that the locker room is not in a good spot. I would, pretty safe to say that the New York Rangers are not having a great time right now, for example. To just reinforce your point about just how much of a difference it makes. Like, it's publicly visible when things are not going well.
Patrick, I've cut you off twice already. Why don't you say what you want to say, and why don't you segue into the rundown, which we were way overdue for already?
No, I was just going back to Stu. I think it was just, as we pointed out here a few times, just it's time for a reset for him. This was the best thing for the future of his career, too. Like, he's going into a UFA year, going over to Pittsburgh, enjoying some success there. That's going to help him, whether getting a new contract with Pittsburgh or a new contract with a brand new team. And even going back a little bit further in our conversation to Kasperi Kapanen, he's coming in. He's a UFA at the end of the year, too. He's playing for his next contract. So if he can keep this up when he returns here, he could probably make himself a bit more than what he did coming into this year. And probably not the best thing for us, but hey, if he's deserving of it, why not? We got the cap going up anyway, too. We're going to have some money to spend. So this was the best thing, I think, for both of those guys, Kasperi Kapanen, Stuart Skinner, even Brett Kulak, who's going to be a UFA as well. He's starting to enjoy some success there in Pittsburgh. So
this was the best thing for
everybody. He did.
Yeah, he scored, yeah. So, I just wanted to add that. I think it was just the best thing for everybody, and it's going to be the best thing for their futures as well.
Yeah. And he's got a young family, right? Like, some of the abuse that he took in this market is unbelievable. Like, just completely across the line, down the lane, through the field, and like on the moon, right? Like, it's just completely unacceptable. Any sort of like wish of harm on a guy's family because of how he plays goal, like, come on. I think again, just going back to reiterate that it was time for a change, and it really is unfortunate. Like, I love the hometown boy stories, but our batting average with them, Brett Kulak kind of being the lone exception, I think, to that, has been not the best. And Kulak, the only reason Kulak had some flack going is he was just struggling this year. And I honestly think he was struggling because I'm not sure he knew what his role was after this. He had a contract that was expiring. He had a left side that was log jammed up with Wallman, Ekholm, and Nurse, and not a lot of prospect for remaining on the team after this year. And I think it would be pretty hard to feel truly secure about your future. And some guys play better under that kind of pressure, right? You got guys like Roslovic who thrive under that, pending, or even Warren Fogle in his contract year, right? Like they play lights out hockey. And then there's guys that just like, Kulak was a staple of this team, and then he became not a staple. And once he became not a staple, that's when things started to go sideways for him. I also wonder if he was dealing with some sort of injury at all.
Patrick, you got a rundown for us there if we haven't covered everything already?
Sure. Let's do this little graphic for the fun of it. Well, we've already covered a lot of the topics I was going to bring up, but a few other things. Yeah, basically the 3 goalie situation was one of the big ones here, and I think we've all kind of said our piece on that. It's going to be Jarry and Ingram here. I think we owe it to Calvin Pickard to find him a good landing spot. As we've said, I don't want to see him end up on waivers, and he's too good, I think, to be in Bakersfield. So hopefully, following the Olympic break here, we can find a solution there for Calvin Pickard, provided another injury hasn't derailed that whole situation again. We know the Oilers have had their share of issues with that this year. Going into last night, the Oilers had the opportunity for, once again, a 3-game winning streak, and once again did not show up to the full extent needed to get a victory. I mean, with the chances they had in that third period, they actually really should have been able to close that game out. But the Oilers find a way of turning backup goaltenders into Vezina candidates, and Jake Allen was just the latest example of that last night. So that was the big one. Obviously, this past weekend, Ryan Nugent Hopkins hitting 1,000 games. That was an amazing game to be at. The big 5-0 shutout. Connor Ingram just incredible in that game, and just the chants throughout the arena. Nuge is going to go down as one of the greatest Edmonton Oilers of all time. We were talking about it in my Fanatic rundown there following the game. I think for sure when the Oilers do eventually win the Stanley Cup here, obviously it's going to Connor, but I think Nuge is going to be the first one that gets the cup handed to him. He's been an absolute legend here. He'll be in the Ring of Honor for sure. Whether he gets in the Hockey Hall of Fame, we'll see, but he's going to be a legend here in Edmonton forever. Absolutely. Yeah, that's basically all the latest here. I already covered the Leon Draisaitl, Kasperi Kapanen news. We're expecting Kapanen back early next week. They're playing Anaheim on Monday. I don't know if he'll be ready for that one, but hopefully, and we're expecting Leon Draisaitl back on Saturday. He had to return to Germany, as we know, for personal family matter, and hopefully he can come back and we can get back to the 12-6 formation, as Kevin was alluding to earlier. I don't think this 11-7 is working out too well for us. We had options to get out of it. It's sending Eichauer down for 2 replacements, but the Oilers have continued to keep 11-7 here, and it sounds like it should only have to last for one more game, but we'll see what happens there. And I don't know. That's pretty much all I got here for the rundown, guys. If there's anything else you wanted to add in there.
Oh, I want to touch on something right off the bat. You start off, but thanks for the rundown there, Patrick. This whole 3-game winning streak curse that we're under here for the 2025-26 season. I mean, Edmonton Oilers, St. Louis Blues, the only 2 teams that haven't strung together 3 wins in a row yet. The biggest difference is the Oilers are probably a top 10 team in the NHL. The St. Louis Blues are down there just scooping up the bottom of the aquarium. Lotzie, what are you seeing? Why can't we not string 3 wins in a row together? This has been 9 opportunities, and we are 0 for 9 and closing the book to get a 3 in a row.
That's just mental, and it's one of those self-fulfilling prophecy things. Like, it wasn't a big thing early on in the year, but now it's 0-7-2, and it's become a thing. So now, of course, it's going to be even harder to get rid of because that's all you're going to hear about before every time they have an opportunity to win 3 in a row. So yeah, there's nothing more to it than that. It's you're gonna have good games, you're gonna have bad games. It doesn't matter what order they come in, right? But yeah, good teams are gonna rattle off more than 3 in a row, handful of times every season. We haven't done that yet, and I think we're still kind of middle of the pack in the standings, and that seems about right. But if we want to vault up the standings a little bit, got to find a way to get over that mental hurdle and just get it done.
You 3 wins in a row. I mean, big picture, it shouldn't be as hard as you think it is, especially if you're a Stanley Cup contending team. But here we are. Kevin, what are you seeing? 3 wins in a row. Why is it not happening for us? Is it really just mental at this point?
Let me pose a question to you guys instead of answering that directly. And the question is, do you think that maybe it might have something to do with the change in overall age of the team towards it being a much younger team over season? Like, I think that just the amount of experience within the team is quite different than it was last year and the year before that. And you have to wonder if, maybe we're, we kind of get going on a roll and then that discipline slips just a little bit because they maybe just don't have the same level of experience outside of the, top 6 and especially the top 3.
Well, the thing is, though, the top 6 and the top guys in D-man, those guys carry 75% of our ice time. So should the bottom 25% of the ice time be that impactful that we can?
It is. It can be. It also can be that the top 6 was getting their crap pushed in multiple times for goals against throughout the season at times. Like, I think we can discount a huge portion of the early part of the season as just like lots of bad hockey. And the systems have tightened up and the games are closer and they're playing better overall. But I still wonder if just that we're falling a little bit short. And the other reason too might be that we are running that top line so much that they're probably gassed quite a bit more. And then when you do rely on the other guys and they're not delivering, that's a struggle. The bottom 6 has been kind of a graveyard at times this year, and there really still needs kind of a little bit more of a shakeup unless this Roslovic, Savoy, Howard thing turns out to be a revelation, which so far good things coming, but still not convinced until we see the actual goal column increase a couple more notches.
Well, you make a good point about the early part of the season. So we have not won 3 games in a row at any point this season, but we have lost 3 games in a row 3 times this season, but they were all done before November 20th. That's the last time it happened. So that's that first part of the season where we were floundering at best. Why are we not getting 3 wins in a row, Patrick? What's your speculation here?
Well, I think the team all season long has struggled with consistency, and it hasn't been goaltending. That's for those last 3 wins for sure, or for those attempt at 3 wins. Like I said, the last 4 games, they've only given up 4 total goals, and somehow they find themselves 2-2. So we should really be on a 4-game winning streak when your goaltending has kept the goals against an average of 1 goal a game for the last 4 games, and you're only 2-2. I mean, that's not good. That just shows to our lack of depth scoring, I think, as well. I mean, we're starting to get some over time here, better depth scoring, but still relying, I think, too much on the big guns. No Draisaitl, obviously, for the last couple of games here, so that may have played into it. But, I mean, they won 6-0, 5-0. It didn't really seem to be a huge issue. So I think consistency has always been the biggest problem with this team, and it's becoming an even bigger issue, to Kevin's point, with maybe the youth here finding that consistency game in, game out, that effort level that's required, and playing also coming off 6-0, 5-0 victories, to show up the way they did against the New Jersey Devils. I think maybe they were thinking it was too easy. Maybe it was coming too quickly now. I don't know, but
New Jersey is fast, man. That's the one thing I noticed about playing New Jersey immediately. That team is fast as hell. And they were on the Oilers like unbelievably. Yeah, there was some real aggressive checking. The Oilers didn't even have time to think, never mind breathe. and they couldn't find enough open space was sort of what I kind of got out of it. But
And Jake Allen did play slightly better than Jordan Binnington, and I can't even remember the Canucks goalie's name. But
Filipino.
Filipino.
Yeah. Allen was fantastic last night, and yeah, it just looked like the Oilers were struggling with the puck. Like they were just battling it all night long. Like whether that's fatigue, whether that's just an off night, whether it's the devil's speed, whatever it was, the Oilers' puck management just wasn't good enough, and they didn't start winning battles till the third period. And Jari was good, but Allen was better. So that kind of thing. But I just doing some quick math here. If we win 2 out of 3 games throughout the entire season, it adds up to 55 wins. That's a pretty solid season. It's like winning every 2 out of 3 isn't the end of the world. Yeah, we want to go on a bit of a run, and we'll have to get that to make up to that pace based on what happened earlier in the season, right? But 2 out of 3 ain't that bad at the NHL level. So like I'm okay with this pace for a while, but yeah, eventually we want to see a bit of a win streak here, and I'll go out there and say it's going to happen during this 8-game homestand.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Lotsie. In fact, it'll be this next 3 in a row. But I dug down a little deeper too in this little 2-game winning streaks we've been going on. We've been really close to winning 3 in a row. Out of the 9 times, that next game where we've lost by 1, 6 of those 9 times. So we've been 1 goal away or 2 goals away, I guess, if you needed the winner, to getting onto a 3-game winning streak. So it's just a couple of shots away, and it's going to happen here this one, Stan. I agree. I'd also go as far as to say is we don't need to win 3 games in a row. Obviously, you make it easier for you. For yourself, if you win three or more in a row, it definitely get some gap going. You get some momentum going. Like you alluded to, Lotsie, 2 to 3 is pretty damn good. What you don't need to win 3 in a row. What you need to do is win 4 out of 7. That's the key there. That's you're creating that habit for the playoffs. And I went as far as to break down the season to see what how many playoff series we would have won the way we've been going this season if they were 7-game series. And so we would have played a total of 8 series so far, and we would have won 4 of them. So 4 wins, 4 losses, but 3 of the 4 series wins would have been this back half of the season so far, where we had some momentum going early part of the season. But all of them have gone either 6 or 7 games before a team has won that 4th game in a 7-game series. So just creating that habit, and need to win more of those. Obviously, 3-game plus win series give you a better chance at it, but creating that habit for the playoffs, that should be the focus in the big picture. What do you got going on here?
What I got here is Micah Blake McCurdy's analytics project and the breakdown of Connor Ingram's saved versus expected, observed goals versus expected goals. And just look at that, observed goals just plummet since he joined Edmonton, right? Like, that's a really good trend. Jari is not quite the same. I will see if I can throw that up here now without breaking this, because I don't know what all these buttons do yet. So,
just don't push that button.
Just be careful which folder I share images from. Here's Jari. Same idea, huge number of expected goals. And, to be fair, some of that's bleed over from his time with Pittsburgh, but his results have stayed consistent since he's been here. So that's really good trend so far.
And these are great slides for all those that are listening just for audio. But Jari's actually, his numbers have gone on a game-to-game basis are actually very comparable to what he was doing in Pittsburgh. So he hasn't taken any huge strides forward. If anything, he's taken, when I compare the 2 numbers game by game, he's taken a small step backwards. But he also was dealing with that injury. You have that transition of going to a new team that you're not used to. Overall, I'm very happy with Jari, the way he's been playing. Like I mentioned before, there's been some rebound issues, but boy, I like his athleticism, his puck handling. The Jari Ingram duo has has the potential to be just really, really solid for us. I mean, Connor Ingram, we're going to have to pay the guy. We can't let this guy go. So, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, 1,000 games, as you mentioned in your rundown there, Patrick. I mean, he is, at this point, pretty much Mr. Oiler. Only Kevin Lowe has played more games in Oiler uniform, and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins will break that next season, early next season, and he will be the longest, played the most games wearing Oiler uniform at some point next season. 1,000 games. Ryan Lotsberg, out of all the 1,000 games or seasons or whatever, the Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, what have been some highlights for you for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, the Edmonton Oilers?
My goodness. I was trying to think about this while I was writing my piece about him that you can find on heavyhockey.com. But I have a story from the very first time that Oilers fans got an opportunity to lay eyes on him. It was the 2012 World Junior Team Canada Summer Development Camp. And Nugent-Hopkins was one of the invites to that camp. And the camp was at Rexall Place in Edmonton because 2012 World Juniors were Edmonton, Calgary that year. And yeah, that was the first time that we really had a chance to get our eyes on him. I mean, not in a WHL game, right? Like he was Red Deer Rebels, so he would have played there with the or against the Oil Kings at some point. But anyway, I just remember walking down the tunnels of the LRT station and just hearing chants of Nugent Hopkins, right? It just reverberating off the walls in there. Like the vibes were so high and the excitement was so high for this guy. First overall pick, just a magician with the puck on the power play. Good 200-foot game, like an impactful player all around. So we were pumped to get him, and he's lived up to that. And he's been everything we could have hoped, and even a little bit more. Like Nuge touches every aspect of the game for us: power play, 5-on-5, left wing, center, PK, does it all for us. But like specific moments, though, I mean, scoring in his first game and then the hat trick in his second game, that was awesome to see. But game-winning goal. Game 4, 2022 against the Flames. Awesome to see him get that moment after suffering for so long.
That's good stuff. That actually gave me mini goosebumps, that one, Lottie. That's a good one. Patrick, you got any Ryan Nugent-Hopkins highlights that roll through your head?
Oh, I love all the fights he got into because he's the last person you'd expect to fight, and he just does so well in those fights too. Just he lays it down, he wins them all. I mean, I was saying on my rundown, like I got to see his very first NHL game and game number 1,000, so that was really special. His first time playing at the old Rexall Place. I remember I was up in the corner and pretty much in the, well, I guess opposite end for the Blues game. But yeah, just the fights really stand out to me. Just the impact that he's had, and I think a few people were mentioning it too, like just complete and total class the whole time he's been here. He's been through some really dark times for this organization. He's never asked for a trade. You never hear Nuge complaining. I mean, he's just been the ultimate Oiler for such a long time, and to see him enjoying the success that he has, getting that recognition now is just really, really special. Just love that 1,000-game celebration there.
You make a good point about, I can't remember Nugent-Hopkins being involved in any scandal of any sort, on or off the ice, really. Like, he's just been Mr. Class since the day he put on that uniform.
No, I actually want to point out that it's not just that he's been Mr. Class, but he's demanded that from people on the team, too. I know that he's been involved in accountability for a high level of standards, both on and off the ice. So, kudos to him. He's an absolute stand-up individual. I've never heard anything bad about the kid. Not a kid anymore. He's been an amazing player for our team. I'm pretty sure he'll look the same in his banner-raising ceremony as he does today. So,
crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, assuming they don't pull him off for like scientific experiments to figure out the age reversal process, because he doesn't age.
You got any highlights, Kev? Ryan Nugent-Hopkins that you bore witness to?
That I bore witness to? No, this would have been a question for Dad. Not gonna lie, he's been a fan of Nuge since even just after he was drafted. He watched Nuge play. Nuge come from Red Deer? Is that where he came from? He came from the Red. Yeah, I'm almost certain. I'm almost certain Dad went down to Red Deer to watch him play in Red Deer at the Centrium. In fact, we may both have gone on that trip. Excellent player, excellent individual. I told this story on Twitter, but I'll tell it again here because it's a little bit interesting, anyways. Dad had a signed Ryan Nugent Hopkins jersey, and he had that jersey because he was part of the inaugural Oiler analytics group in 2011, and he was given a choice of jerseys, and he picked Ryan Nugent Hopkins. And I still have that jersey. It's going to get preserved soon, but it's just a cool piece of memorabilia. Like before he was this 1,000-game player, he had 0 games played, and that's who my dad picked to have a jersey from at the that era of Oilers hockey, and still relevant all these years later. Incredible career thus far. I sincerely hope that he finishes it as an Oiler. I can't think of a better person to be a lifelong Oiler.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, those of us that are old enough to have gone through the decade of darkness, the one flower that came through the sidewalk crack was Ryan Nugent Hopkins. That was stuck around. He was there for a good chunk of that, so he has suffered probably more than the fan base has during that time, and now he's enjoying the fruits of being, just his work ethic has never been questioned, even those dark times. And he was like his career high points was 69 points for the longest time. And my favorite Ryan Nugent Hopkins highlight is that whole season of 2022-23 when he just blew out to 104 points after having a career high of 69 points, where he just rode that wave and helped. They did his share of carrying the load for this team to get him into the success they had, and to get that close, like in the finals, like for him to taste that. I mean, he might be, if not as hungry as Connor McDavid for trying to get that Stanley Cup. McDavid kind of needs that for his legacy and cross that off his bucket list. Nugent Hopkins needs this for just the reward for all the toil and the mud and the muck he's had to skate through to get here. That is one guy who probably could have asked to have been traded at some point just to get some greener pastures, pull a Ray Bork of some sort to go to a better contending team at one point. And he just took all the bullets for us and kept moving forward. I love the fact that he scored his first NHL game in his 1,000th NHL game. That guy deserves every accolade he's getting right now.
Well, and he's playing sensational hockey, right? Like this is some of the best hockey we've ever seen Nugent Hopkins playing, and he's starting to get into the second half, or more than second half of his career, right? Like he's well into his career, and he's definitely delivering some of the best all-around hockey he's ever played.
All around is the key point, 100%.
Yep. Do you guys remember that back? You know what? No, I know the highlight. Do you guys remember that back check last year against St. Louis?
Yeah.
Who was that? Neighbors?
Braden Shen.
Braden Shen,
yeah. We'll talk about Shen in a second. But yeah, are you sure it wasn't Neighbors?
Positive.
Okay,
it was the breakaway, and Nuge came back on him. And
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Jack's talking about he's free and clear, and nope, Nuge shows up and strikes like a python, and out of nowhere, puck's going back the other direction. The side note about Braden Shen was, hey, Hank, that's enough. The side note about Braden Shen was he tried to hit Bouchard. I think it was earlier in the year or last year. And Bouchard just like sidestepped and he smashed into the boards into a crumple. And you just see Bouchard do his little shuffle step away and look over his shoulder behind him and like kind of giggle and move on. And it's one of those funny plays that sticks with you. Like Bouchard's a bit of a chirper. If you've heard any of his on ice mic stuff, he's not afraid to talk shit. And I'm certain if there was a mic for that, there would have been a hilarious comment coming from him as he left the corner. But yeah, totally useless side note there.
Even more useless side note is I've played poker with the Shen brothers once in Saskatchewan, but that's whatever.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
Well, back then, Braden wasn't in the NHL yet. I ran into Luke was playing at a poker table in Regina in the casino there, and we just kind of hit it off a little bit. And then they were playing a home game back at the Shen house, and they invited me back there, and that's where Braden played with us too. And he was like 17 years old. Whatever. I took some money, nothing too serious. I don't think Luke. He was still a Maple Leaf at that point, so. Connor McDavid, point scoring streak, 20 games. That's the longest streak any Oiler has had since 1985-86 season, which of course Wayne Gretzky, 46 points in 20 games. It's the 27th longest point scoring streak in the history of the NHL. Connor McDavid now, was he year 10, year 9? Is this the best Connor McDavid we have seen? Dash? Did you get that at all?
Well, hello. I've been listening for like 40 minutes here. I thought Patrick might have fallen asleep with his eyes open, Mr. Producer. Just kidding.
You showed up and then disappeared like 4 times.
Yeah, I tried adding you twice and then you kept leaving again. I will not.
It's at fault now, Dash.
Statement. All right. I don't like all these fingers being pointed at me. Why am I the heel all the time? All right.
I don't know why are they.
Nuge first. I have to. I'm sorry, but yeah, like what a king, right? Like whoever would have thought like that skinny little guy drafted first overall was going to be the first ever Oiler to wear a jersey 1,000 games, right? Nobody in the history of the league has put a jersey on 1,000 times for the Edmonton Oilers. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has. That's pretty cool. The fact that none of the 4 of you brought up his fighting prowess is embarrassing.
No, they did. They did.
You did.
Oh, maybe I missed that when I was being kicked off by Patrick then. But yeah, like what is he, 5-0 and, you know, beating up Hall and guys twice his size. You know, whatever. Yeah. Good for you, Nuge, or Luge, or whatever Patrick calls him. That was quite an effort to have the goal that he did on his 1,000th game as well. So I can't remember what your question was when I first came on. I just answered a different one instead. Oh, Connor McDavid playing his best hockey. He's as fast as he's ever been. Listen, Kevin, I don't need to explain myself to you right now.
You do not.
Yeah, Connor's as good as it gets. Yeah, this is peak 97. I think like it's a combination of knowing his spots even better than he ever has. You guys know I wrote an article. He's reaching speeds that he never has before. He's doing it at a higher rate than nobody else ever has in the history of the league. Right when I wrote that article, he started scoring goals all of a sudden. So like perhaps Kevin was talking about every time he writes about somebody, there's a bump. Well, let me tell you, Kevin, you haven't been around here long, but there's this thing called the heavy hockey bump. Okay. Yeah. So after I told Connor to score all those goals, it was pretty clear that he figured out his puck handling at that speed. No, I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass. He's absolutely playing his best hockey. Like the experience is there. It's kicking in. You can see he's making his decisions are better. He's not deferring as much. He's just leading a team. He's leading a team as much. He's still doing it. But
there was still an inexplicable dish to Hyman in last night's game that I'm not quite over. And you know what? The dude plays the game better than anybody on the planet. I don't think there's much doubt about that. That pass that he made to Pod Coles in the previous game is one of the most insane things I've ever seen. Just like in terms of personal effort. So I guess I can't judge him too hard. He probably knows how to do it better than I do. No doubt he knows how to do it better than that. I just sometimes a little less east-west and a little bit more shooty. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, we're talking about a guy who scored over 60 goals one season, and now they're speculating he may be playing the best hockey of his career right now this season. Yeah. Lotzie, what are your thoughts? Is this the best you've ever seen Connor McDavid?
I mean, I'm pretty sure Connor said so himself in an interview during that streak, right? Like,
What does he know?
if that's his own assessment, then who am I to judge? Who am I to counter that? But no, like, I'm not surprised by anything Connor does anymore, and like it was only a matter of time until he went on a streak, kind of like that. Now, did I think he was going to be 2 points a game or more for 20 games? Not necessarily, but I mean, yeah, Connor's just incredible. I don't put anything beyond the guy, and it was just nice. It was like almost a relief to see him kind of do that after the funk he was in early in the year. So yeah, it's just fun to watch whenever he's playing like that. And you got to sit back and realize just how lucky we are.
One huge positive about being 50 years old. By the way, happy belated birthday to the Dash Man himself. Also turned a big 50 here. So welcome to the Silver Club, Silver Hair Club. If you had hair, you'd be
Senior
silver.
Citizens Division, yeah.
But one positive thing about being old is the fact that, like, I clearly remember the Wayne Gretzky era, and I clearly remember the Connor McDavid era. Like, I'm so thankful I get to see both these guys. I don't take the Wayne Gretzky era. You're young enough to just kind of take it for granted. Connor McDavid era, like, you guys can't take this for granted. Watching what we're seeing here from a generational player like that. A fun fact there: during the 20-game wins point streak for Connor McDavid, he was averaging 2.3 points per game. That is actually the 6th highest points per game average for any guy who had a point streak over 20 games, and 4 of those were by Wayne Gretzky. So
I was going to say
the 5th one was actually
probably by Gretzky, and the 5th one was probably Mario Lemieux.
the 5th one was actually Steve Yzerman.
Wow. All right. I guess Yzerman, and actually was that towards the end of his career? He went on a real tear, I think, at one point.
I didn't write down the year, though. I think it was more towards the middle. He actually started concentrating more on his defensive side of the game there to win the Stanley Cups. But before that, he'd be top 3, top 5 in scoring behind Gretzky and Lemieux and those guys up there for a while.
That's the insane thing about really good players is they reinvent themselves multiple times over the course of their career. Like Corey Perry's a fantastic example of that. The Corey Perry that exists in the league now is very different from what he was when he was a 19-year-old, right? Like, but he's just figured out how to survive in one of the hardest sports in the world, and that's really impressive.
I actually thought that Connor would do a certain turn that way as well. I was still confident he would score like a shitload of points and still be the best player in the NHL. But I thought actually his point total might dip a bit where he started focusing more on the defensive side of the game. And then he goes on this ridiculous tear. And Patrick, I'm asking you the same question. Is this the best you've seen Connor McDavid ever play?
No, not really. Kind of pathetic. Obviously, this is the best we've seen Connor McDavid play. He's been absolutely incredible. And just watching him, been privileged to go to some more games lately and just seeing it live, just seeing him fly up the ice, just like you blink and he's from one end to the other and doing incredible things. And we've seen it for years now, but he's taken it to a whole other level this year. He's just flying every single night and just needs some people to get in proper position so they're finishing off some of these beautiful plays. And going back to the other night against New Jersey, and it's been a problem with his team as well. Sometimes they try to just make it too pretty, and Connor is probably one of those guys that is most guilty of it. But when they work, they are things of beauty, and when they don't work, they can frustrate the hell out of you. But yes, this is absolutely the best we've ever seen Connor.
And what a privilege it is to watch a guy like this, and to see him live, is like it's a work of art. I mean, you can see it on TV all you want, and I do, and Connor McDavid is the favorite thing I watch on my TV. But when you see it in person, like the speed compared to the rest of the people on the ice is just like it is a cheat code. It 100% is just a cheat code way to do it. Wayne Gretzky, to me, is still the greatest player to have ever played the game. His biggest strength was his hockey IQ. It's probably unmeasurable. Like that guy knew where the puck was going to be. He knew where his players were going to be. He saw the whole ice like he was seeing it from a satellite. And his passing was elite too. But I do think Connor McDavid is the most skilled hockey player that the NHL has ever seen.
Yeah, I'd say that that's fair. He's he's one of the fastest too. Like in terms, I don't. There's very few people in the league that can keep up with fresh Connor. I know there's a sort of famous video from a couple years back where Cale McCarr was skating as fast backwards as Connor was forward, and that's its own brand of impressive. But yeah, kind of wonder what's going on with uh, you know if he was at the end of a shift or something, because there's very few people that can hold Connor up legally, anyways, in the league.
Well, and when they do touch him, apparently he dives, right?
To be fair, I do not have as big an issue with that penalty as other people had last night. I do think he embellishes. I do think that he uh, does swim a bit. Swimming is his preferred method of diving, and he initiated that contact, and then sort of. I don't have an issue with them evening that call up, because I do think it was a two-way street. That said, there was some terrible officiating last night.
Did they say it was embellishment on the broadcast?
Was it embellishment, or was it hold? I think it might have been
hold in the building.
I think they called it up. You're right. I think they called it a hold. But what he did is he stuck his butt end in front of the guy and basically pulled on.
I think Jack questioned. He was like, "Are they calling Connor on the dive?"
Yeah, well.
In the building, it was definitely a hold, and I saw the swim move, and I was like, "Yeah, he earned it."
He does it. Let's be honest. He does embellish occasionally. He's good at it. It gets them drawn penalties when they sometimes need that advantage. And people will complain about it, just like we complain about it when other guys dive. He's going to get called for embellishment occasionally. It's just how he plays. At least he's not Tim Stutzel, right?
Well, going back to when we were actually complimenting Connor McDavid,
yeah,
I just looking at Nuge's jersey there in Dash's background. I mean, with talking about both of those guys, we all know how hard it has been to find people that can play with Connor McDavid on that line, and that's just been something else that's been incredibly special about Nuge, bringing in Hyman. Those guys, it's been so hard to find people that can. It's not even keeping up with just Connor's speed, but just knowing where to go, getting him the puck at the right time. So I just want to go back and just compliment both of those guys. 1,000 games for Nuge, and throughout his career playing with so many different people. And during that 1,000 games, finding Connor McDavid, being someone that can play on a line with him and share chemistry with him, it just makes him that much more special of a player.
It just goes to
go back to bashing him now.
No, it's not bashing. I'm just recognizing.
I know. I'm just Josh.
Hey man, I gotta say, McDavid's defensive
all the best
play,
players in the league do it. Let's be honest.
But he likes to swim a bit, and he can do it because he's one of the fastest skaters in the league, and make it look convincing. But anything for an advantage, man. Within reason. There's things that I don't necessarily, I don't love diving, but I also understand why he does it. I understand why everybody does it. Especially this team with a 35% power play, right? Just mental stuff.
So we're around the 50 game mark of the season, and making this drive for the playoffs and getting ready for that second season here right around the corner. It's going to sneak up on us. What is this team still missing? What kind of future moves are you guys anticipating the Oilers still to be making? What's a piece of the puzzle here that could kind of complete the picture better? Patrick, got any ideas, any suggestions?
They got to figure out a third line center, I think, or some other new element on the third line. Get that third line to a point where it's consistent. We're finding some measure of success so far with Roslovic, Howard, and Savoy, but they still haven't really broken through yet. They've got a couple goals, I believe, now, but obviously still need more. There's time to work on it here, but not much before the trade deadline here. It's going to come up real fast after the Olympic break, and even some teams are treating before the Olympic break as a bit of a mini trade deadline. So something at third line center, Russ pointing out in the chat there, right shot, third line center, or somebody on the wing there just can bring a new element and help get some more scoring out of that third line, I think would be massive.
Dash, you got your GM hat on there. What do you think?
I think what's missing is a winning streak. It's pretty tough to win a 7-game series when you can't win 3 games in a row, guys.
They win 2, lose 1, then they win 2.
Yeah, well, let's.
As long as they can win 4 and 7 was the comment they made before you got here. So
Math is hard. Yeah, I don't know, knock on wood, but I still find that difficult. And consistency is kind of my, underlying smart ass message here. You guys touched on it earlier in the show. I was listening, I guess I said it in the chat, but maybe you guys didn't want my intelligence on the show.
We would have changed the password if we didn't. You know that,
when the entire foundation of your team is built around outscoring your mistakes, it's pretty tough to be consistent. And that's not a formula that's really successful. Playoffs, sort of long-windedly and around the bush, answer your question, Bubby. I do nothing. I get absolutely torn apart by the public. The media would be all over me. Connor might not re-sign. But you want my GM hat? You keep your powder dry. You wait for that cap to grow. You use the money wisely in the off season, not when everybody has a gun to your head. You let Savoy and Howard and Roslovic and Emberson season. You give them experience. You let them lose in the playoffs because you got to learn to lose in the playoffs before you know how to win. And outside of 5 forwards and 3D, this isn't yesteryear's team. It's not, certainly not 3 years ago's team. So I'll never doubt a team on the back of Dry and Connor ever. So yeah,
but just temper the expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Kevin? Any changes coming? What's missing on this team so far?
This bottom 6 still needs help, man. And I know I sort of agree with Dash that maybe don't empty the cupboards this year. Even though the pressure will be massively on to empty the cupboards.
You get absolutely crapped on.
But I think that this team needs a third line center, or they need to tell Nuge that he is the third line center going forward, and then they need to go find a winger. One of those two things needs to happen. They need to, go all in on one of those 2 options and figure it out. Because the bottom 6, as much as we've had a limited run of success with them recently, still needs some help. There's still some passengers down there that, frankly, Matthias Janmark has struggled this year, especially compared to previous seasons. And, I get that he is not an elite goal scorer, but he does a lot of things right in his game. And there's a reason that the coach keeps him around and the GM keeps him around. And the reason is consistency for the most part. But this year, that consistency at times has slipped just a little bit. I don't know what they do when Adam Henrique comes back, because frankly, I don't know where he fits on this roster with the style of play the Oilers are currently playing. I don't.
He fits in a planter in the corner and you water him twice a week. If he was any slower, honestly.
But there's still stuff that he does right in his game, but he's not Adam Henrique of 10 years ago, right? Like, he's just not.
10 years ago, Henrique was slow.
Well, and he's a smart player, right?
Yep.
And he brings a lot of grit, and he brings a lot of things that this team does need, but speed is not one of them. And this is a team that plays pretty high octane hockey, all things considered. And that's where the sport is at right now, right? Like quick strike. You've got to be fast on your feet. Like, unless you're a bloody turtle like Corey Perry, who somehow still knows how to always be in the right place, even though he's slower than molasses in January.
Hockey IQ.
It's all hockey IQ. And
you can be slow if you know where to be.
Well, and if you still have that shot, Perry can score. He scored 50. He won a Richard.
Yeah.
Rico never did that,
No, and like I said, top line dude, right? Like as far as like off ice and like team, as far as I've heard, like excellent dude to be around. But the contract is something that we don't really need right now. And especially when you have money tied up in guys like Mangiapane, who are, basically trade bait at this point, and that's well known through the league. What do? You got to find money somewhere. Who else? Everybody else has no movement clauses, and these guys have no movement clauses too. So
I will say this about Adam Henrique, though. Like, he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. That's for sure. Like, he doesn't give me the heebie-jeebies when he's out there. Yeah, he is usually the high guy when it comes to an offensive rush, bring the trailer in. But he's pretty sound defensively. But I know what you're saying, though, Kev, is we can probably get somebody who does that role for cheaper. And
doesn't cost $3 million a year. Yeah, I would hope so.
Lotzie, are you on board with this whole doing something with the bottom six here, or are you seeing somewhere else we could make a change in?
Well, I definitely used to think the bottom six needs to be revamped. I'm a little conflicted because, yeah, I think third line center is the biggest hole on this roster right now. It is. There's no denying it. But to Dasher's point, and I've been saying it all year as well, don't do anything this year that's going to screw up your plans with Ike Howard, Matt Savoy, and some of the guys of the future. This is your transitional year. You're breaking those guys in for a reason so you can have some guys on value contracts playing significant roles going forward.
These are the young guys Connor wanted.
Exactly. And like if you want a guy to be around for 8-10 more years or however long you want Connor to be around for, and you want your team to be competitive for that amount of time, you gotta work at some of these prospects in eventually, and this is the year you're doing it. So I don't want to spend a bunch of assets on rentals, but so if I'm gonna bring a guy in, I want a guy with term, but I also don't want to do anything that's gonna block Ike Howard. And the reason I say bringing a third line center might block Ike Howard because you have the natural move of putting Nuge at third line center and opening up a nice little spot on McDavid's left side for Ike Howard if he can be that guy. Now, the problem is you don't know if Ike's going to be that guy or not, right? Like, you want to open that path for him, but he's got to take it as well. It has to work.
He's not there yet.
So,
he's not there yet.
He's not there today. Absolutely not.
And I don't even happen.
That's part of it too, but I don't know that we have a player that I don't even know if he's going to be on the playoff roster. To be in all honesty, he might not be. So yeah, for the immediate future, hard to say. Like I say, I don't want to spend big assets on a third line center right now, but I also see a bottom six that's got 5 fourth liners on it. Right? We Mangiapane, who I think will get traded. I think it's a matter of when and not if. So that's going to open up a little bit of cap space for us as well. You got Henrique, we've talked about, don't really know where the fit is on this team. It's not at 3C, I'll tell you that much. Maybe he's better suited for the wing if you're going to put him on the third line, but ideally he's on the fourth line or in the press box. Trent Frederick is not the third liner you expected him to be.
He's been a lot better. He has been a lot better
the last few games.
5. Actually, for the month of January, let's pause here. I had a look at the edge stats for Frederick, and all but 2 of his top skating speeds this year have come out in the month of January. So something is starting to click. Whether it was his ankle was still healing, or whether the injury was more between his ears, who knows? But something is starting to click. I've seen him be in the right places. I've seen him make smart plays. I've seen him be where he's supposed to be in advance, not 2 steps behind like I was used to seeing him basically all season. I am seeing the light at the end of the tunnel with Trent Frederick, and I hope that he can push through to what I think he will be, which is at least a version of his former self. Might not be the same, might be a different player, but I think he's not the total graveyard that we saw at the beginning of the season and up until now.
Wouldn't that be a nice trade deadline acquisition?
Yeah.
It took us a year.
Well, hey.
That'd be nice.
Just like
So
if
you
Andrew
got
Kane
Pickard-
was a trade line acquisition when, he returned to the lineup after being on Elter all year.
Yeah.
Or Connor Brown that first year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, I gotta say that first Connor Brown goal is still one of the most magical things I've ever seen. Like Kane sort of put him on his shoulders for that. And, we can talk a lot of shit about Kane and the things that he isn't, but one thing he would do is he would fight for his teammates, and he would put his teammates sometimes in positions to succeed. I mean, quite literally, I think Kane said, "We're going to score you a goal today," and that's what they did, right? That was all about setting Brown up. There was no other play. And then just watching that standing ovation for like 5 friggin' minutes for a guy scoring 1 goal in the NHL. Just one of the coolest experiences I remember.
What do you guys think Connor Brown said to Connor McDavid as they're going into the box there?
I don't know, some chirp because he's a smart ass.
And McDavid didn't say a word. He sat down and basically looked like someone just stole his fruit roll up from his lunch. Like he was like,
When does McDavid chirp lots really? Like it doesn't
I
seem
don't
like
think he's that kind of.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think he's that. I don't think that's his game.
Yeah.
like you see guys, like you said, you hear Evan Bouchard. Bouchard chirps like crazy, right? Like there's a few guys on the team that they're talking shit a lot, and I just don't think. I think Leon probably does too, but like I don't know if Connor's really. I don't. They either don't publish it and I don't really ever hear it in the on ice mics. The only thing that I ever hear from him is like game related stuff, or like when he was encouraging Savoy earlier to go with it and stuff like that. Like that's the kind of stuff I hear out of Connor.
McDavid's chirp is walking through 5 Leafs and having Morgan Riley land face first into the boards.
His skates do the chirping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you guys at all when it comes to focus on the bottom 6. Yeah, we definitely have some struggles that need to be addressed. But I'm kind of surprised that nobody mentioned the number 6D spot. Like in my mind, there, and I like Spencer Stastny. I do. I like the way he skates and stuff like that. But he, to me, has been struggling of late over the last 10 games or so, almost. There's times he looks lost out there. He's kind of wandered into no man's land, not covering anybody. And for a guy who skates as well as he does, I've seen him get flat-footed a few times and get burnt and make some bad decisions. Your thoughts on Spencer Stastny? Anyone got a thought on him at all? Any concerns?
Yeah, I like the player. I like the player a lot. I think that they need to stop screwing around with the defense pairs, and they need to figure it out. Like, we have a problem, and that is we have 3 left-handed defensemen that are making more than $6 million a year, and that is going to prove to be really complicated balance-wise in the coming years. Like, unless somebody is dedicated to playing their offside, and so far Wallman, as far as I know, is the only one that can actually do it and be moderately successful at it. Stastny needs to be planted in that 3 LD position and left there to cook, and let him play with Emberson and let him play with Regula and let him stop trying to upskill him into a top 4 position, because it's just not. I don't think that's the player that he is. I think he just needs the consistency of, here's your job, stick within it, do it well, and then we'll figure it out from there. I mean, there's a lot to like about his game. He's fast. He sees the puck well. I remember a perfect read from him on a developing breakaway that he intercepted because he was, he sees the game well. But again, I also think that there's room for improvement, and I think part of that is putting him in the right opportunity to succeed, and that is Kulak's spot. And then you have to figure out what to do with your extra lefty.
I just wanted to bring up something else too. I meant to mention it with my rundown news. We got news on Connor Clattenburg that he's having or had surgery on his left hand, so he's going to be out a while. And he's someone, I don't know how long a while is, if he's going to be back for playoff time, but he's someone that could definitely factor in to that bottom 6 for the Oilers. Obviously, he's not going to be a huge minute muncher or anything like that, but I know a lot of podcasts last year, we were talking about finding toughness for this team. That's when we always talked about, well, Evander Kane's coming back eventually.
He sucked.
Yeah, and he sucked. But Connor Clattenburg coming in here could end up being one of the, I don't know, late trade deadline acquisitions. We'll see how much he actually plays or if he does return here. But just someone I wanted to mention there as news and a possible bottom six addition.
I have heard feedback from multiple people who watch the Condors religiously that they're not super happy with what Clattenburg became when he returned to the Condors, which is basically a bit of a loose cannon. He was just basically going out and headhunting and fighting every game and whatnot, instead of working on developing his puck skills and the things that he needs to do to be successful in the NHL. So that's up to the management of the organization, and that's up to Chalk to reel that in and say, look, bud, if you want to play in the bigs, this is what I need you focusing on, and that's not pounding the shit out of AHLers every night. Like, he's out right now because he got in a fight and broke his hand. That in and of itself isn't a big deal. That stuff happens when you punch helmets, you break stuff. It's just kind of how it works. But the reality is that he needs to play smarter hockey, and he needs to play for his future if he wants to have a future with this team.
Interesting note there. Yeah, I've not heard that feedback. What was going on in Baco there? It's nice to have a Condor insider here.
I'm not a Condor insider, but I do read guys that are, and there's a couple guys. Original Poser watches all of their games, and a couple other guys I've had some private conversations with. That basically, like, he's got to stay focused on playing hockey, like actual hockey, not just beating the shit out of guys.
The organization basically rewarded him for running around and fighting. That he brought that spark that we so desperately needed at that time, early in the season, and he's now a big name in Edmonton because he did that for the 6 minutes,
but he's
seconds of ice time he was getting every night.
But he's not going to get that opportunity again if he continues to play like he is in Bakersfield.
Yeah, so like I like the kid. I said he was a couple years away, somewhat recent before the call up. Even I know it was just like a pat on the back, or maybe it was a statement for some of the guys on the big team. We need more guys playing like this kid. Now whether that was a mistake or not, I don't know. I personally think it was. I don't think that was the right player to call up. But having said that, I like Connor's future. Like, I like the kid. It's just, he needs the time to practice or develop and get there. Like, I don't see him as part of the immediate solution.
He might not be, but Bob Soffer was alluding to it, like when he got sent back down, that it was more just to get him up to game speed again, because they actually liked what they saw from him, and then he was going to get
for good reason.
Yeah,
for good reason.
He was probably going to get a recall fairly quickly, and then of course he got hurt. But
he went down and he was a loose cannon, and that part of the mature, like, if he wants to play in the NHL, he needs to, on that front, mature a little bit. And like, guys, like, paid fighters have a short career. So if he wants to be something more than that, like, we know some of the horror stories with guys that just fight and that's all they do. And he's more than that. He's a smarter hockey player than that. We saw that. And even in limited ice time, we saw that he could make smart plays, and if he screwed up, then he was often able to fix his own mistakes. And like, there's things there. There is a player there, but he has to play hockey first and be an enforcer second.
Well, gents, we're starting to run a bit long here, so by the time we do our round the horn here, we'll be pushing even longer, and it's probably well past Dash's bedtime. So we'll go around here and.
You want to do a quick call me crazy?
Oh man, you got one teed up?
I do.
Well, then fire away. It wouldn't be an episode without a call me crazy.
Patrick, hit my music.
Somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there.
Drop the beat.
Take your time. He fell asleep. I told you guys. Sleeps with his eyes open. They're like painted eyelids. Yeah, it's like Jeff Hardy.
Hey, while we're waiting,
You know, Oh, sorry to interrupt, Kevin, but I have a segment to do.
except for I think we played it this week on Heavy Hockey.
The wrong one.
I was going to say,
All right, you
Talk about it in
roundup
the new year.
beauties.
does he
Call
have
me
one?
crazy.
Oh, there
Who
we
do I
go.
start
Hang on.
with? What?
Hang on. I got it.
Yeah, I mean, we're calling you crazy a lot tonight. Yeah, I mean, we're calling you crazy a lot tonight.
There, now you're teed up.
Even better than before. Oh,
Technical
welcome to the Heavy
difficulties.
Hockey Podcast. This is a segment we like to call Me Crazy, and subtly watch Patrick produce. Call me crazy, fellas. I'll go around the horn. I'll probably start with Patrick, then we'll go Bob, Ryan, Kevin. Okay, Patrick, call me crazy, but game one of the first round of the playoffs, the goalie between the pipes is Connor Ingram.
I don't think you're crazy. He's been the best goaltender of late for the Edmonton Oilers, and just watching him in the St. Louis game live there, his positioning was just absolutely outstanding. There was a couple times where the Blues had chances like wide open in front of the net, and they had nothing to shoot at. So, no, I think Connor Ingram definitely has a fantastic opportunity to be the starting goaltender in game one.
Yeah, I really like the way he absorbs pucks. I know Bob was talking a little bit earlier about the differences in rebounds between the two when I was listening. And only for my completely selfish curiosity, Bob, maybe you could touch on it just because I'd like to hear your opinion. I kind of get the feeling that Ingram's rebound control is like it's better, it's more controlled. He kind of sucks up pucks or absorb pucks, where it feels like Jari's trying to use athleticism to kick him into the corner and get him the hell out of Dodge kind of type thing. Now, maybe I'm seeing something wrong, but first, call me crazy. Connor Ingram's the starting goalie for game one.
You're not crazy, but I do think Jari will be the starting goalie for game one. We brought Jari in to be the starter. And unless Jari's game takes a drastic downfall and Ingram stays where it is, that's the only way I see Ingram really starting it. I don't think Jari's game is that much worse than the way Connor Ingram's playing right now. Ingram has been the better of the two right now, but Jari is still making that adjustment to a new team, plus coming back from an injury. I think you'll see his game keep improving. As for the first part of your observations there, Jari is more athletic than Connor Ingram. Connor Ingram seems to be much more square to the shooter, much more positional. He does suck up a lot of the rebounds. Jari is still finding that rebound issue, especially off his pads. And I think it's because he isn't as quiet as a goalie as Ingram. Yeah. He's a bit more jittery. I think he'll get a handle of that. I mean, he does also he's a better puck player than Ingram is. Not that there's anything wrong with Connor's puck playing, but Jari makes some smart decisions with that puck and just really knows how to hammer it to a guy and find open spots for guys. You're not crazy, but Jari will start game one.
Yeah, puck handling is key. I can definitely see that being a big factor, Bob. That's a great point. Ryan?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page as Bob here. You're still a little crazy, but not totally crazy on this one. If it was starting today, then yeah, Ingram would be my guy because he's playing fantastic right now, and Jari's still working his way back. But we still got a lot of runway between now and April, and there's enough time for some momentum to switch. And I don't think they would have brought Jari here if they didn't want him to be the game one starter. So I think that he'll get that opportunity, and it might be controversial at the time. We'll see. But yeah, I think Jari starts game one.
The way he's playing it looks like that groin or whatever was bothering on the LBI seems to be pretty close to 100% if it isn't. I'm going to like that Olympic break for him. Otherwise, though, that's for sure. Kevin?
No, you're not crazy. I want to see him against a little better comp first before we get too blow the doors too far off of this place. Like positionally, he was great against St. Louis.
Right.
Not to make jokes, but I need to see a little bit more from him yet, and I've been very impressed. That's not to say that he's not delivering. I think he has a real shot of making the coaching decision as to which goalie to start more difficult for sure. But Jari was brought in to be the 1A. I'm sure that's the conversation that's been had with him. And I think nothing but as good things can happen from those two guys pushing each other's buttons for who gets the starts.
Yeah. Hey, you guys think we'll see Connor Unger in a game at all this year?
Oh man, if he keeps playing like I think I want to, I think he deserves that. If you look at Logan Thompson's career progression, he had a few NHL games in a season and he went back down to the AHL. But I do think that if he keeps playing like that, you have no choice but to at least reward him with an NHL start and say, keep at it, bud. And maybe he comes in and blows the doors off the place, Jordan Binnington style. But I don't know. I don't see why you wouldn't if he can continue to put up 950. Yeah, I think
950. Like that ain't no joke, right? Like
was
I love how we all
951
started to like make
951 the other
excuses
day?
for Ingram when he showed up, being wow, that's a chaotic league and it's unpredictable and it's really hard to have a great save percentage when you don't really trust your defensemen and you've never played with these guys before. Connor Unger's played on 5 teams this year.
To be fair, there is some value, like with how Ingram plays. There is some validity. They play two different styles of defense or of goaltending, and Ingram plays a very systematic, very systems-based goaltending. And if there are flaws, other teams will exploit that and exploit him by extension. But if you clean up the shit and leave Ingram a good first read, he's going to stop it way more than he doesn't. And the Oilers have been doing that in spades, and that's the difference between the AHL and the NHL.
That's where I was going to go, Kev. That's where I was going to go, Kev. I'm glad you brought that up because I totally agreed with Connor Ingram's statements where he found the game a bit easier up in the show as opposed to AHL. On a much lesser scale, I could relate from senior hockey to beer league hockey, where senior hockey I was a way better goalie in because I knew where the guys. There was a flow to it. There's rhyme or reason for what they were doing. In beer league, half these guys don't even know where they're going to shoot the puck. How are you supposed to guess where it's supposed to go? It's just a much more scrambly style. Ingram's style is definitely more suited, like you said, Kev, for a systematic game where there's a flow to it that makes sense. Whereas Unger right now, who is a fairly athletic goalie, and he's played so many different levels where it's been scrambly to begin with. I think this is what he's used to. Does he deserve a shot? Obviously, I'd give him a few more starts down there first before I throw him up here. But hey,
if he can hold it, if they can hold it, if he can hold that save percentage,
yeah, exactly.
I don't think you have a choice. Like first of all, that's how you drive accountability through your organization and say, hey, if you do well, we'll give you a shot. The other name that should be on that list, if we listen to anybody that knows anything about the Condors, is Mariala. Like that kid is ready to go. Like he has the opportunity. I'll read you guys this tweet. Folks, it's time to get really serious about Viljami Mariala. I have no idea how to say the name, guys. I'm sorry. He's coming in parts of the game where he needs in order to push up the depth chart. And that's high praise coming from Bruce Kurlock, right? Like he's I wouldn't say Bruce is overly critical, but he has a sharp eye for all the details of the sport of guys that will be successful or not. That is something worth listening to.
Especially down there.
I see no reason why we don't carry 4 goalies.
I think Calvin Pickard's going to get moved. I think you kind of have to do that for a couple of reasons, because if you send him down, then you have a decision to make about Umgar or Tompkins, and that's a tough decision to make. Whereas if you move Calvin Pickard, you have Tompkins and Umgar and Ingram and Jari, and I think as far as organizational depth goes, that's about as good as you can ask for right now.
Why don't we just go 9-6 like beer league? You can carry like 5 goalies.
I'm lucky to get 1 goalie in beer league. Apparently, this relatively new as well. It sounds like Matthias Ekholm has made the Swedish national team for, Team Sweden for the Olympics, which I know some people will be a little bit upset about because he won't have the rest and he got hurt in Four Nations last year. I believe he was actually hurt prior to Four Nations. And yeah,
He got
he
He's hurt
wasn't.
all year.
Four
He was hurt in
Nations.
preseason.
Russ,
Preseason 23.
yeah, that's fair. Russ, I don't think so. And the reason I say that is because they signed him to a 2-year, $775K deal to be basically an AHL goaltender for us. I don't think he really gets called up, especially with Ungar playing like he is right now. I think the chances of Ungar getting called up are, but it sounds like even Tompkins is ripping it up in the AHL as well right now. So who knows? What do I know?
Yeah, Sweden just lost Ekman Larsson today as well, so he got hurt today too. So that
Yeah, they were down Brodin, right?
Dropping like flies everywhere.
There's so many injuries. Seth Jones just got replaced for Team USA.
for Jackson Blake.
Yeah,
Jackson Lacombe.
Jackson
Lacombe, yeah.
Almost like this condensed schedule is a bunch of bullshit.
There's a reason they didn't play in the Olympics for a while, right? Like,
but the players like the condensed schedule for the most part. I mean, they get to play a lot more games. All right, we're pushing 2 hours, boys. Yeesh. I know everybody in Dash and My's age bracket is already snoozing, so we'll call her for the day here. We'll go around the horn. What you guys got going on? We'll go Dash first, then Lotzie, then Kev, and then Patrick. If you can finish us off at the end. I do want to say quickly, for me here, since we last had a show going, we did lose one of my hockey heroes here this month. Glenn Hall passed away, 94 years old, so that's a heck of a run. Yeah, I was a huge booster of the old goalies back in the day that wore no masks. That's before my time. I know I'm old, but I'm not that old. But I do remember seeing that book in our library where there was a picture of a goalie in the front that had no mask on, so I just assumed the guy had lost his mask. And then when I was opening the book, I saw that all these goalies were not wearing masks. And I was a comic book guy as a kid, and to me, these guys became instant superheroes because they were literally stopping bullets with their face. And so that to be, after seeing that, that's all I ever wanted to be, was a goalie. Glenn Hall was in that book. Terry Sawchuk, who is my ultimate hockey idol, he was in that book. You know, Johnny Bauer, Jock Font, these guys. And I had the privilege of, it took a lot of doing, though. I had to go through Dave Stubbs in Montreal to make it happen. But I had the privilege of meeting Glenn Hall 2 years ago. They invited me out to their farm. I was there. His son, Pat, said maybe just 15 minutes because, Glenn was already up there in age and getting tired early. I was up there for over an hour. They let me stay there and chat. And I got to meet Glenn. He was a little slower in remembering stuff, but when something hit, he just tore off on a story. And it's one of the highlights of my life, meeting a guy who, they say don't meet your heroes, but if the guy's name is Glenn Hall, oh my goodness, definitely worth it. So I just want to give that a shout out because that was meant a lot to me. I know when I did tweet the day I met him, I put it out there on Twitter land, and Kev, your dad, DM'd me instantly, and we started talking about old goalies back then. It's something that him and I had in common, that we loved old time goalies. So
Dad would have been seriously bummed about him passing. To be honest, it's been a tough year for the hockey greats all the way around. We've lost a few of them, both on and off the ice. So I hope 2026 is better. So far, my hopes are being dashed a little bit, but
you can't argue with 94 though. That's a pretty good run. So thanks everybody for tuning in. A couple good comments on the chat again today. Even some from Dash, and then he joins us. So we'll go with Dash, Lotzie, Kev, and Patrick. Fire away, boys. Thanks for jumping on, by the way.
Somebody change the password after this, seriously.
Great job in the big chair, Bobby. Patrick, average to below average job producing. Try not to suck next time.
3.8 out of 10.
Just kidding, you guys know I love you. I
Should
think
I
it says
just
a
mute
lot
you
about
now,
Bob when he
or
opened up a book after looking at a cover. First things first. I think it says another thing about Bob when he actually finally opened that book and learned that you could take rubber bullets off your head. That was a point that he decided that was what he had to do for the rest of his life. So when they say don't meet your heroes, well, Bob the goalie, I met you, and I'm also just as pleased as you were to meet Glenn. So that's what I got to say about that. In all seriousness, heavy hockey showdown, March 14th, downtown community arena. If I'm not mistaken, EST got their team, close to signed up today, and I think that makes it official that we're gonna make things a little heavy and a little nasty. Pre-game party on the 13th, finalizing locations. There's a few rare spots left in the game, so if you are interested, reach out to any of us. Get to the website. There's 1,000 ways to do it. You're crazy if you can't find a way to sign up if you're interested. And as always, all proceeds go to the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton. And we all know here we're really proud of that cause. And I really think we're gonna take it to the limit this year because it's been much more well planned. We've got a bigger committee. We had the ball rolling a lot earlier, and I really feel like we're on the precipice of something special here. So looking forward to it. And last words, yeah, if you're interested, please go sign up now.
And just for mine, I guess I can echo what Dash is saying. Heavy Hockey Showdown is going to be a great event this year. We've got lots of silent auction items rolling in from some really great contributors. So thank you to everyone that's contributed thus far. We'll have more info on that, who's donated, what's been donated, when you can start bidding on items soon. We're not quite there yet. As Dash said, we're finalizing watch party locations for March 13th. So be on the lookout for that as well. And yeah, like if any interest at all in registering, like I can't say anything but good things about the event, and everyone always has a great time there. It's a great group that's involved with it. So yeah, please head on over heavyhockey.com/heavy hockey showdown. You'll find the registration link there. And we'll keep info flowing out over the next week or so here, I want to say. But balls are rolling. It's going to be exciting. And aside from that, the Oilers are in a good spot right now. We just need Kapanen and Draisaitl to come back and the team to be this close facsimile to full health as we can get, and we'll be all right. So aside from that, thanks for tuning in, and I'll pass it over to Kev.
Not much to add. Again, I'm also hoping to play in the Heavy Hockey Showdown. That'll be my first time joining the group for that. Come see me be bad at hockey after not playing for almost 20 years. But should be a good experience. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to our next podcast. It's nice to get back in the saddle on these. And as a parting thought, all of us were wrong about the Nuge back check earlier. It was Robert Thomas and it was Hanaran Singh doing the game by play-by-play call. So we got 0 out of all the details correct, except for Nuge successfully doing the back check. So
that's the important part.
One of my favorite Nuge highlights of recent memory. Anyhow, that's it for me. We'll close her off for the night.
Well, I just want to say thank you to everyone. Fantastic job, Bob. Dash, thanks for showing up on time. Fantastic turnout in the chat there. I loved all the comments. To echo the Heavy Hockey Showdown comments from Dash, Kev, Bob, Ryan, it's a fantastic event. I had my first interaction with it last year. Loved every single second of it, and looking forward to making this one bigger and better this year. So yeah, get signed up. Come on down. It's a fantastic time. As for where you can find me, I've got my own YouTube channel, The Oilers Fanatic. Keep you guys up to date there with news and game reviews. And yeah, it's going to be a exciting time here over the next couple months. We got a little bit of a break coming up, but maybe we see some moves here in the next week or so. Who knows? And then we got the trade deadline coming up shortly thereafter. So it's going to be an exciting time here. So,
and then the Olympics.
And Olympics, of course. Yes. Connor McDavid, Matthias Ekholm. Leon Draisaitl. So we got some things to watch there. Josh Szymanski on Team Germany as well. So lots of stuff to cover here, and I'm sure we'll be talking about it here on the podcast. So thank you to everyone for joining us here tonight. Thank you, gentlemen. It's a fantastic honor as always, and have a great night, everybody.